You're up. With the size of the state budget deficit, what do you think about the money the state is spending to attract global foundries to the area?
Can you repeat the question, please?
With the size of the state budget deficit, what do you think about the amount of money the state is spending to bring global foundries to the area?
Well, I think that Global Foundries has been a great thing for this area. It's created a lot of jobs, a lot of revenues, a ton of construction. I have a family member that owns a small business in Malta, and he is really his business has improved because of the presence of these construction workers that are here building this $4.6 billion facility. So jobs, new revenues, it's great. It's this AMD, Global Foundries, it's going to cause an economic ripple for the entire region, and I am a proponent of retaining jobs and creating jobs and fixing our economic development programs to create jobs. That being said, I know that many people are concerned about corporate welfare and the enormous amounts of taxpayers' money used to create incentives for businesses to relocate here. However, my personal opinion is that we should not have to give money to these companies to promote economic development. I think it would be a refreshing idea to cut business taxes, give tax-free holidays for capital investments for a certain period of time, reduce the overregulation that's strangling our businesses, have a moratorium on raising any more of their taxes, and let businesses create jobs and engage in an entrepreneurial spirit that has created goods and services that people use every day. We have to guard our taxpayers' money. People don't want to spend any more money on subsidizing anybody else. They want to keep money in their wallets and in their pockets, and that's what we have got to do for our residents in this capital region.
Thank you, John. That's a very good question. As a resident of Saratoga Springs, Saratoga County, I'm very glad that Global Foundries is coming to Saratoga County. I think it's a great thing for not only Saratoga County, but also the entire area. But I think having established that, we need to take a step back. We need to ask ourselves, why is Global Foundries coming to Saratoga County? Is it coming to New York State because New York State is such a business-friendly state? I think I heard a snicker somewhere. We know that the answer is no. New York State is one of the least business-friendly states. In fact, it's one of the most business-unfriendly states in the entire union. So therefore, why did Global Foundries come to New York State? Well, it's because of the incentives that we gave them to come to New York. I have a problem with government picking winners and losers. I'm a free market conservative. I believe in allowing the market to pick winners and losers, not the government. So the government has given these incentives to Global Foundries to come. Where are those incentives for the mom and pop stores nearby in the general area of Global Foundries? Those incentives are not there. What I'd like to see is government level the playing field for all businesses, lowering the tax rate for businesses, providing all businesses an even chance of success, as opposed to government picking winners and losers. I think such a scenario lends itself to, again, the culture of corruption and dysfunction that we're seeing in Albany. Who picks who those winners and losers are? We talked about 3 men in a room. Well, I'm not picking on Global Foundries per se, but when certain companies get those incentives to come here, is it because they really want to come to New York, or is it because of the relationships they've developed with the legislature? Again, I'd rather see a level playing field that gives everybody an equal chance for success. I don't want government picking winners and losers.
Thank you. Elizabeth?
While we're on the topic of Global Foundries, how do you think you can help prepare the 109th district for the economic boom that's going to happen? It's obviously going to be in Saratoga County, but what can portions of Albany County do to either prepare for it or deal with it, benefit from it?
I'm sorry, what's the question? I didn't get the last part about Albany County.
What can the part of Colony and Albany County do to prepare as well?
Okay.
That is a little farther away.
Okay, what can Albany County do to prepare for Global Foundries as well? Well, I think what we can do is we can look at the need for Global Foundries and see what needs they have. We need to look at the laws that are on the books here for New York State. I was talking to someone recently and they mentioned that, for for Global Foundries, they're actually hiring workers from outside New York State, and they're bringing them in to the area to work on the project. New York State has unemployment of almost 10%, and we need to be able to retrain our workers, because Global Foundries there should be hiring our workers. We need to make sure that we have skilled workers who can meet those challenges. We also need to look at infrastructure improvements as well. Is the area set up to be able to handle that? We need to look at areas such as planning and development in the area over there. Certainly you're going to see an economic buildup in that part of Saratoga County. Are they prepared for the building permits and the people that are going to move into the area? Can we necessarily train employees in other departments that have necessarily seen stagnation in population growth, train them and move them over to other areas? For instance, the town of Colonnade, they've seen a tremendous amount of population growth, but I think they've leveled off in the last 10 years or so since the last census. Can some of those employees perhaps be retrained and moved up to Saratoga County, where their skills are going to be in great demand? Certainly have a benefit there of taking people with a skill and placing them in an area where they don't require as much retraining, and you can see an immediate benefit to that.
How can we prepare for, could you repeat the question again?
Yeah, for the kind of the economic boom that it's going to create once it's finally up and running.
Well, I think the entire state and the people in the legislature have to think more long term. People might come here for jobs, or some local residents may get jobs, but they're not going to stay here if we don't have a spending cap, if we don't have a property tax cap. If someone comes here to work for Global Foundries and they realize that, wow, I'm really getting hammered in New York State. I'm paying so much in property taxes and they're going up every year. I can't even figure out what I'm going to owe on my property tax bill next year. The legislature is dysfunctional or non-functional. I'm going to get out of here and go back to where I came from. The budget this year, as I said earlier, has increased taxes and spending. It's forecasted to do the same because they've come up with no plan for spending cap, a property tax cap. Our STAR rebate check program has not been reinstated. We have a bloated Medicaid system that hasn't been reformed. We've got a highway plan that there's no highway plan. This budget does not come up with any kind of highway plan. There's tons of congestion in the capital region. Our bridges are being closed down and causing traffic jams because the contractors weren't getting paid for a while. So I think that what we really have to worry about to prepare for the economic boom that is forecasted with, or in connection with the arrival of the Global Foundries workforce, is to try to encourage all New Yorkers to stay in the state. And I've been going door to door to probably over 2,000 people so far. And everybody is saying the same thing. I can't afford to live here anymore. I've got to get out of here. I'm on a fixed income. Our taxes are going up. My husband wants me to move to North Carolina. I'm going to be losing my support system, this one lady was telling me. I don't want to leave, but we have no choice. So I think that we're going to have to look at retaining our citizens long-term towards the future. That's what I would be worried about, is getting them to come and then getting them to stay here. So.